welcome to part 8 of the USS Voyager build-up. We're starting to motor along on this kit now. I'm going to be solely concentrating on the lighting today, see how far I can take that for the rear end. But I just thought I'd show you this. The little ball bearings came in this morning, so I was able to get the ball bearing in position and also get the little bits of plasti strut in and around to finish that bit off. So that's actually now starting to look really good. So I'm happy with that. So I can put that to one side until I need it now. My first job really is to work on the warp nacelles, get the lighting in for these. Now at the moment I'm not too sure how I am going to do the lighting, because we do need to get an SMD in place there for the navigation light. We also need to get the light source in for the chiller grills, and we also need to get the light source in place for the Bizarre scoops as well. I'm not sure, however, whether I'm just going to put one continual strip of white LED tape in there, or whether I'm actually going to make a bulkhead there, put that in blue, and then just put a red LED bulb in there. I'm just going to need to really sort of like look into that and see which way is going to be the best way around it. With the SMD, once that's in place, I'm going to need to cover that with super glue or something like that, so we don't get a short from the SMD tape, or sorry, the LED tape when I put that in. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. One of the other things that I'm going to do as well, because I need to try and save space on the amount of wires that we've got going through, and because all the lights in here are static, I'm going to try and get all of the light sources in this wired up to just one positive and one negative, so I can run those through, and then basically run that one set of wires through here and get this as a light source in as well on the same wires, and then I'm kind of hoping that we'll be able to do the same as well for the two navigation lights that are on either side. If I can get those hooked up to that one continual source of wire, and also the light source that I'm going to need for the rear windows, if we can get those all hooked up to that one single wire, that would be fantastic, because that's going to save a lot of mucking about, and it's going to save a lot of wires sort of going all over the place. The only ones that would be running on a different wire would be the two anti-collision lights, but then, you know, they can run off of a separate piece of wire as well. And then I'll only have basically 4 wires coming out the back of this thing, which is going to make it a lot easier to handle once this is actually in place in the back of this ship. So I'm going to carry on and see what I can do with these, and as soon as I've got something worked out, I will come back to you. Made some progress on the warp nacelle. Decided to go for a single red LED at the front for the Bizarre scoops, and a strip of 6 blue LEDs for the rear. I've got a bulkhead in place there. All I need to do to that now is just light block that and then paint it again, and that'll be fine. The reason why I've decided to go that way is just that there just was not the room to get a strip of 9 LEDs straight across, and I didn't really want any light drop off from anywhere, so I just decided to do it like this. It's just seemed the best thing to do. I just need to get the SMD in place for the navigation light, but that does give you a basic idea of the setup that we're going for. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get the wire to run from the SMD that's going to need a resistor on it to the contact points on the LED tape to the LED here, and then run them out that way. So hopefully it'll minimise all the wiring and hopefully stop it from looking too fussy on the inside. So I'm just going to need to carry on and get some more work done to that, but at the moment that's actually not looking too bad. And if we turn it around that way, you'll see that that SMD is pretty much all bang on in the centre. All I just need to do is just adjust that slightly once it's in place properly, just to make sure that it is definitely centered, but that's not looking too bad, and hopefully once lit that should look pretty good. So as soon as I've got some more work done to that, I will come back to you. Made some progress on the starboard side nacelle. We've got the LED and the blue strip tape in place. We've also got the SMD in place underneath as well and wired up for the navigation light. We've also got the SMD in place as well for the impulse engines. Now with the navigation lights and the impulse engine, I'm actually using the 0805 Sunny White SMDs. Now the reason why I'm using those is because I couldn't find any green SMDs about. I could find plenty of red ones, but I couldn't find any green ones. And I just couldn't be bothered to wait or hunt anymore for them. So all I did is I just bought a whole bunch of these from the LED Baron in Germany, and just coated these in the Tamiya clear paints. So it's not a problem. The green's still going to be green and the red's still going to be red, but they're just not sort of coloured, so it's just a case of having to manually do that. But that's all in place now. We've got the resistor in place as well for the little LED in there. We've also got the resistor there for the SMD that's underneath the tape strip, and we've also got the SMD in place as well for the light source for the facade scoops. Now all of this is actually done on the top, so that's going to be like that when it's done. The reason why I decided to put those on the top is because I wanted to try and minimize any hot spots that there might be. So I thought just by putting them on the top, that should hopefully reduce the chances of getting those hot spots. I've also got a little bit of tape on this one here, just to help remind me that this one is the live wire, or the positive wire, so we don't do anything silly. So what I'll do is I'll get this put together. I mean, obviously there's going to be light leaks galore on this still, because we're still, well, it's not buttoned up yet, and we still obviously haven't sort of done the putty work or done any painting. But it'll give you a good idea of what it looks like. I have painted the chiller grills and also the clear plastic for the facade scoops. They're still drying at the moment, but I'm not quite ready for those at the moment, so there is just a little bit of finessing left to do on this before I'm happy to go ahead and actually get this all buttoned up. I've also purchased myself a little bench power supply as well. I was just finding it really with the batteries, I was just finding it pretty difficult to really try and judge what the light levels were going to be like. The reason being is with batteries, as they grow old and they start discharging the power, the light sources do tend to grow dimmer, and obviously the more light sources you have running off of a 9-volt battery, the dimmer it's going to get anyway. So I just find that having this about does actually help. So let's get this turned on. Just wait for that to kick in. So the wire is still a little bit loose here. That's it. Let me just see if we can get them up. So that's what that's looking like. That's going to obviously not going to be quite as bright as that, because we're going to have the glass in the front there for the chiller grill, and then we've got the two facade scoops at the front, and then at the rear we've got the green navigation light LED. Whoop, nearly lost that then. It's lucky the wires are still connected. And then at the back there you can see that we've got the exhaust there for the impulse, and then if we turn it around you'll be able to see the intake. Now with that I'm going to put some clear plastic in there, pretty much all like that really, and then I'm just going to sand that down to frost it, and then just put it on either side of the light source, and then that should hopefully kill any hot spots. Well, that's the plan anyway. We just have to see if that does work. And so then all I've really got left to do is just wire up the second nav light on the bottom once I'm ready to get everything installed properly. As I say, I just need to finish up doing a couple of bits and pieces and get the wire stowed away properly on the inside of there, and then that'll be that. Now because I'm running the single wires, that's actually going to go through to the base quite happily, where it's going to meet up with the other SMDs in there that it needs to. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress on this so far. So I'm just going to get the work finished on this, get this buttoned up, and then I will start on the port side nacelle. So as soon as I've got that sorted out, I will come back to you. So I've got the starboard side nacelle, that's completely buttoned up now. There's not much work left to go on this. I just need to get all of the seams sanded down. I need to get all of the little details put in, rescribed in there as well, and the same on that side. But it's not looking too bad really. The other job that I will need to do is to mask the chiller grill off, and also the bizarre scoops when it's ready for painting. But there's not much work to do left to this now. I just need to get rid of all of the horrible seams that are about, which hopefully shouldn't take too long. I'm going to work on those seams whilst it's like this on its own, rather than attaching it to the fantail and then doing the seam work. I think it's just going to be easier to move this around, because you are going to need to get in some well, shall we say, fairly awkward positions with this to get the sanding done. So I think it's going to be easier to work on it like this rather than being attached to the fantail. But it's not looking too bad. The glow coming from the nacelle is about right as well. So what I'll do is I'll just turn out a couple of these lights, and we'll get it attached to the power, and you'll be able to see what this is looking like. So just get this attached. It's taken a bit of time to get this sorted out, because I've had to diffuse the light on this as well, because I was getting some quite horrendous hot spots in the chiller grill. On the chiller grill. Let me get this light switched out. I know we are in the middle of daylight here, so you might not get the same effect as you would do if it was completely dark. But that's what the nacelle's looking like. So we've got a fairly nice glow coming off of that. See if we can move that a little bit closer to the camera. Oh, now my little positive wires just come off. Let me just reattach that. There we go. So there you go. That's what that's looking like. So that's looking quite good, and that's the glow that we've got coming from the impulse intake. And then if we can turn it around, that's the glow that we've got coming from the exhaust for the impulse. Still need to take care of those light leaks around the side there, but that should be okay. Just need to get some putty or something and squeeze that into those gaps to take care of that, and then try and smooth that down a bit, but that's not really a big issue. And as you can see, we've got a little blue light leak coming through there, and so we've got the navigation light on that side. It just needs a little bit more paint put on that as well. And then we've also got the one on the top there as well, and again that just needs a little bit of paint put on there too. It's being kind of slightly washed out on camera, but that does look right in person. And it's the same with the Buzzard scoops as well. They look pretty cool. I mean, they're not being washed out really on camera, but they look absolutely perfect in person. So that's the progress on that so far. As I say, just need to do a little bit more work to this, but I think I'm going to get all of that work done once I've got the other nacelle done, because then I'll be able to work on both of them at the same time with getting the last little few finishing touches to them. So as soon as I've got the port side nacelle done, I will come back to you and show you what they both look like. Finished working on the nacelles for the moment. They're about as far as I can take them until such time that they're put into position on the fantail. But we've gone around all of the seams with the perfect plastic putty. We've done that a couple of times and they all seem to be pretty much well spot on now. So the first primer layer will actually tell me whether those seams have all but disappeared. So really I just need to put these to one side now and work on the fantail, but I'll give you a quick look at how they are in the dark as we just get all of the light switched off. So there you go, that's what they're looking in the dark, and as you can see there we've got a good shot of the impulse engines there, which is really good. So they're not too bright, which is the way that we need it to be really, and you can see through there we've got no hot spots whatsoever at all, so that's looking really good, and the light coming from them does look pretty good as well. It looks about right, to be fair. And then we've also got the Buzzard scoops at the front there, and again the lighting on those isn't being washed out at all by the camera, so that's a good indication as well that we're about in the ballpark. And then we've got the red nav light, and then we've got the green nav light on those two. So yeah, I'm happy with the progress on those. I've also started working on the SMDs for the fantail. You most probably remember either from the last video or from a previous segment in this one, I did say that I was basically painting the SMDs. I've basically got the gold and white SMDs and just putting the transparent paint on those. So they're all done now, so they're going to be ready for tomorrow. I just need to let them dry overnight before I start putting those into the fantail, and I'll be able to get that put on as well. So hopefully, keeping fingers crossed, if everything goes according to plan, I should be able to get the warp engines and the nacelles, the nacelles and the fantail all wrapped up tomorrow. So as soon as I got that done, I will come back to you. Made some progress to the fantail section of the ship, and as you can see we've got a little spaghetti dryer going on there with the wires. We've got the port and starboard side navigation lights in place. We've also got the anti-collision light in there as well, and we've also got two light sources in for the windows that go in around this area. Now the reason why I've chosen two light sources is I don't think I'm going to be able to get that to light up properly and evenly with just one light source in place, so I've gone for the two and put them at a slight angle to the window, so hopefully the light should just bounce across those windows quite nicely and help light those up. We've also got the light sources in place as well on the top section. So we've got the starboard side and the port side nav lights in there, and we've also got the anti-collision light in there as well. Now with all of these lights and on the bottom, I will need to just come in and paint those with matte black, and then I'll go over them with white as well. Reason I need to do that is because obviously I don't want these lights casting sort of green or red shadows all over the place and interfering with the natural light source for the window. This one I'm going to need to paint over because when that starts flashing, I don't want that pulsing in the window, because that will look a bit crazy. One of the other things that I need to do as well is remove the detail from this section, and also from the corresponding sides on the bottom. And I also need to remove the detail from that section as well. As you can see, that's woefully inadequate. It's not big enough, and the details are completely wrong on that, so that needs to be removed and replaced. Now, I have been working on the replacements for all those parts and trying to get them looking as though they are from the studio model, but that's what we've got so far. That does need a little bit more work doing to it. There's some ribs that need to be put on there, and they're just general little bit of finessing that needs to be done, and then they'll be ready to put on. The reason why I've done these first before I've removed that detail is that I wanted to make sure that I could get these parts looking somewhat like the studio model before I removed the details from the ship. Because if I had removed the details from the ship and I couldn't do this, then we would have been in a little bit of trouble. But that's coming along quite nicely. Now, I know this video's starting to get a bit long, so I'm going to carry this over into part 9, I believe it is, where hopefully all of this will be put together. So I will catch up with you in the next update. So until then, thanks for watching, and please do take care.